Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for taking some time for me today. Really excited to meet with you and share a little bit more information about MGT, the great things we're doing here, how we can work together so that you don't miss any opportunities that come your way. Typically, in these meetings, we'll have a few folks joining us. We like to get the whole team involved, but it's just a busy summer. We got folks on vacation. We've got folks out doing some agency visits in person. Got folks just cranking away in the office trying to get some more quotes in and more binders over the finish line before the end of the month. So I think today it may just be me, but I am extremely excited to be here with you. This is actually one of my favorite 30-minute sessions during the week. This is when I get to connect directly with the agents who are most engaged, most interested in working with MGT. And my goal here is to bring a lot of value to your day and set you up for success. So quick note here, all along the way, as we go through the presentation together, please feel welcome to reach out using the chat feature. Should be right around the bottom middle, maybe somewhere around here on your screen. A little text bubble that says chat. You can use that to ask any questions just because of the scale of the webinar. We can't really have mics on, but please use use the chat feature, and I will keep an eye on this while I go today, and I'll make sure to answer any questions that you have along the way. So let me go ahead. I'll get everything fired up, and we will jump right into the fun part. So we do share. With MGT, the era of Neo Insurance has arrived. And I can already hear it. I am sure we've got some folks who are sitting at their desk and they're saying, Dan, we haven't even been in this webinar for 3 minutes yet, and you're already throwing crazy buzzwords at us. What does this even mean? And I don't blame you if you're thinking that. We are the world's first Neo insurer. And so it is not surprising if that's not a term that you haven't heard yet. But I would say to understand what that means, you can kind of think of us in the context of the wider industry. You have got your insurance carriers. We all know them. We love some of them. They do great things, right? Many of these companies have been around for decades. Some even can measure their tenure in hundreds of years. And all along that time, they've been protecting people's businesses and livelihoods. But as they've grown, as they've evolved over the years, their number one goal has not always been to make things fast and easy. And a word we actually use here a lot that you don't often hear associated with insurance is delightful. You have had over the last several years different insure techs joining the market. They can be organized a lot of different ways. You'll have your MGAs, your MGUs, the rest of the alphabet soup. You'll have your wholesalers, your fronting companies, your comparative rating platforms. But when you boil it all down at the end of the day, typically they are distributing somebody else's insurance product, and they're just making it a nice, easy experience to do that. But they don't really have full control over that product, over the policy forms, even sometimes over the technology that they're using to distribute it. They're just putting together services from different vendors. That's where MGT is different. We are the carrier. We stand behind the risks that we underwrite through our platform. It's our capital backing the policies. We are also building the technology that we're using in-house. We're not relying on other vendors to do that for us. And we also really even have in-house management of our claims process. And so because we control the entire process from the actuarial work of setting your rates and your guidelines all the way out to adjusting claims when those occur, really has let us deliver to you and to our policyholders a modern feeling, easy experience that honestly these days just feels like what managing an insurance policy should feel like. A couple quick facts about MGT. We are rated A minus by AM Best. I like to point that out because combined with the fact that we're writing our policies on 100% ISO policy language, which are the most legally tested forms on the market, you can feel good and confident that if there ever is a claim on an MGT policy, it should play out the way you'd expect it to, and we'll be here to stand behind that. And I like to share that just because I know we aren't yet necessarily a household name unless you live in a extremely nerdy household. One thing I know that you'll all appreciate, though, is that we've built a 100% digital, frictionless, fully online process where you will never have to fill out accord forms. We will never come back to you and ask you to fill out a lot of supplemental applications. And you don't have to engage in 3 week long back and forth email chains trying to firm up terms and get that never ending list of additional questions answered. In fact, quoting through our platform, over 85% of the quotes we release are completed in 3 minutes or less. All quotes through the platform are fully bindable, so you're not just receiving a fancy underwriter indication. You could take those quotes to the bank as long as the information on the application is complete and accurate. We're also admitted in 44 states plus Washington, D.C., with plans to continue expanding throughout the year and beyond. Now, we've got some good numbers to share here. I'll leave these up on your screen for a second. The only one I really like to kind of pause on and highlight is that in the last quarter, we had 100% uptime on our platform. Stability is the name of the game, especially when you're thinking about, words that should describe an insurance carrier. And I like to share this 100% uptime stat because that means 100% of the time somebody needed to access MGT to quote, bind, issue, service, or renew a policy, to answer someone's questions, to help someone with payment, to get policy documents. The platform was live, it was there, it was ready to go. It wasn't throwing up errors or endless loading screens, and it was there to help you accomplish your goals. Now, we've got a good appetite for small businesses. That is really our focus. We want to do great work for them. We're writing over 300 classes of business, including artisan contractors, professional offices, medical offices, retail stores, wholesalers and distributors, barbershops, beauty parlors, nail salons, bakeries, grocery stores, convenience stores, restaurants up to 50% alcohol sales, and more can all be a great fit with MGT. Again, we are focused on small business. To us, that means up to 3 million revenue for most risks, up to 5 million revenue for professional and medical offices. We had a great question come in through the Q&A. Thank you, Vandana. Do you do HO6? I have a condo owner client in Beverly Hills. No, we are strictly small commercial. We write BOP policies. But really good question. We do write condo owner businesses, but not the HO6. We will write businesses with up to 100 employees. We'll write risks up to 35,000 square feet as a general rule of thumb. We will write property up to 2 million total insured value per location with up to 4 locations per policy. And we are flexible as well. Definitely when you get those nice, neat, clean, no hair kind of risks on your desk, send those our way. We'll make them as easy as they feel like they really should be. But when you get something a little tougher, maybe it's a new venture, a business with no prior insurance, coverage lapses, claims history, those situations can all be eligible as well. And so I'd encourage you to submit those too and let us show you how easy they really can be as well. Now, I get caught all the time saying that we write just the BOP or we write only BOPs. But the reality is we can write a lot of optional coverages that really let you build on that foundation and provide a policy that's very tailored to that specific business owner and their risks. A couple highlights here are the professional liability that is available for photographers, barbershops, beauty parlors, and nail salons. Hire non-owned auto also drives a lot of coverage decisions. That is available for a lot of classes. We get a lot of interest for it with artisan contractors. We get a lot of interest for it with restaurants. And as long as they're not doing any delivery on their own employees, if they're just contracting through third-party apps, that can be a great fit for them. It's also available for a lot of our office risks, most of our retail classes. So always like to highlight that one because it is, again, a very impactful coverage to have. I had to learn what workers' comp stopgap coverage is for those of you in monopolistic states. So I always like to highlight that we have that available as well. And just some other great coverages here that may come into play for you too. So we've got some different optional coverages and sublimits available as well, all pretty standard fare for the BOP. So I won't spend too much time here unless anybody has any questions on these and wants to dig in. The main highlight I'll leave you with on this slide is that as you're working through our platform, I will only show you bindable options for all these different coverages and sublimits, so you can always feel good the quote you produce through MGT is a quote you can stand behind. Now we've got some restaurant coverage enhancements. These are available only for restaurant risks. They've got access to higher limits for spoilage and contamination. They've got the premises security coverages. They've got that higher non-owned auto we discussed. And then if they are doing any valet operations, they can get up to $150,000 in sublimits for those damage to customers' property. And I'll pause here too and just highlight one thing, which is that when we rolled out our restaurant product, we did not actually offer this damage to customers' property endorsement, but it was requested. And so we turned it around. We added it in, we set it up in the platform to be quotable. And that's the difference with MGT. If you're working with a carrier that's not technology enabled, that might be a very different story. If you're working with an insurtech, it probably just wouldn't even be an option for them. But because it's our technology, our insurance product, we were able to turn that request around and offer a solution there. We do write artisan contractors as well. They get access to up to $100,000 for miscellaneous tools and equipment. They get the contractor's installation coverages. So really like to highlight that. I think it's kind of an interesting industry for us, and definitely would encourage you to submit those risks as they come across your desk too. And so let's go ahead now and see how everything works. Now, before we jump into the platform itself, I always like to show off my favorite page on our website, which is the Appetite page. For those of you following along on your screens, you can click into the Appetite tab and then scroll down and you'll see Amy, our AI Appetite Assistant. Amy is a really fantastic resource. This is just one example of how we're using technology to make your lives a little bit easier and more convenient. We can ask Amy any kind of appetite questions. It knows our appetite deeper than just a class code or a state level. So it's much, much, much more useful than those spreadsheets of class codes that I know we've all seen. If you want one of those, you can download it by downloading our appetite guide. Or we could talk to Amy and say, can you write a barbecue restaurant in, let's just say Austin, because gotta love the barbecue there. And Amy is able to come back to us with an answer pretty quickly, even though barbecue restaurant is not the name of a specific NAICS class code, even though we didn't really specify where Austin is. Amy knows all the good barbecue. It's in Austin, Texas, comes back to us with an answer. It gives us some guidance on what we can expect as we start to quote. So really helpful tool there. And then once something does look like a good opportunity, we can click sign in and jump right in to get started. Once you're signed in, you'll be into the broker portal and you'll have some options in the front of your screen here to start a quote. You could use the user management page to build your team and send invitations to anyone else in your office who would benefit from an MGT account. And if you do have any appetite questions, you've got quick access here too. So I had a question come in. Are there any restrictions when agents come in through First Connect, or should we get appointed directly? So really, really good question. I appreciate you answering that. No, there are not any restrictions. First Connect agents have access to our full appetite, and we tend to respect our platform relationships like First Connect. Typically, if you're signed up through a company like that or a partner like that, we wouldn't really want to offer a direct appointment anyway. So would really encourage you access us through First Connect if that's how you're set up. It'll be slightly different. You don't log in through our website. You'll access us through the First Connect marketplace and log in that way. Really good question, though. I appreciate you answering that. So along the sidebar here, you'll have options for home, policies, quotes, and user management, all pretty self-explanatory here. And let's go ahead and start a quote so you can see what this process looks like. First thing we'll do is enter in the name of the business. And I'll just go ahead and do, let's say, Dan's Deli in Ohio. Now, if they have a DBA, any other information that we need to add, we can do that. And then we'll click continue. Sorry, this is what happens when you put in random businesses. There we go. This will work. So we'll continue. We'll select restaurants, business owners policy, continue. Now you will see some options here on my screen. You won't see on your screen. It's just because I'm in the demo system. So it should be pretty straightforward when you jump in. Might look slightly different from what you're seeing here, but I am very confident you'll be able to figure it out. So the first thing our technology's done is it's actually classified this risk as a deli or sandwich shop. In my experience, that's typically a very accurate classification. If you do need to update it, though, you can click onto that drop-down box, and then from there you can select the best class code that describes that risk. So we'll click continue here. We will keep this page just as it is, but these first couple questions will always be the same. Do we need to add building coverage? And have there been any claims in the last 5 years? So now we'll click continue, and you'll see our technology is actually pre-filling these questions for us. As soon as we entered that business name and clicked continue, we actually communicate with dozens of different data vendors to look up over 3,900 different data points on this risk. And we're using that to pre-fill some of these questions for you. We'll go ahead and give them some alcohol sales. We'll click continue. And then in the next page, we've got a few other questions here. All this looks pretty much like I would expect for an established small deli. So we'll click continue here. We'll go ahead and give them some sales. Click continue again. And then in this next page, we can add any additional insureds and add the building information too. So to add an additional insured, we'll answer this one question. We'll click add additional insured, and then we'll select the type of additional insured and enter in their name, address, and a couple questions here. There can be additional premiums for these additional insured endorsements, and so I do encourage you to add those up front when you know they'll be needed. We can always endorse them onto the policy after it's bound, but it's just easier to get it done up front if that's an option for you. You'll see here we are also finding the square footage of the building. We're finding the construction type. We can identify that there are no automatic sprinklers. And so you'll see that technology that we are bringing into this process is potentially saving you a good amount of effort from having to go look that information up yourself. I know a lot of times the business owners don't even know this information necessarily. And so this is where you can leverage our ability to go find that information and turn the paradigm around a little bit from having to do all this research to more just kind of verifying that the numbers look right. So it comes preset with 100,000 BPP. If we need to change any of this information, though, it's as easy as keying in the updated information. If we need to add any other buildings, we can do that. If we need to add any other locations, we've got a button to do that as well. And now we'll click continue to go into the next page. There's one last question here, which is whether we'd like to opt out of trio coverage. And that should load for us in just a second here. We will keep the trio coverage on, and then we will get the quote built and put together for us in just a few seconds. Now, one thing I'll say while it's loading is as you're going through a quote, you saw how fast it was to complete that. And that's actually really how fast it can be. In fact, when you don't have me talking at you the whole time, it's going to be even a little bit faster. but it's not a race to just click continue, continue, continue as fast as you can. I would really take some time, make sure that information's correct. That way, you know that the quote that you get at the end of the process is also correct and accurate. So we got terms back. We've got the premium available for us here. And then if we scroll down through this page, you'll see we can adjust all these different optional coverages and sublimits. All of the options that you see, again, will be bindable options. So it's only going to show you terms that you can stand behind. Now, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, you've got some more optional coverages. This is where you can add on the higher non-owned auto. That's all it takes is a click of a button. And then you'll see that the premium updates for us here in the upper right-hand corner. We can make any changes that we need to make, as many or as few as we need to. Maybe we want to add in some equipment breakdown. Maybe we also want to increase the deductible and get some premium relief here. And then as we make those changes, you'll see the premium updates for us here in the upper right. And once we've got all the changes in that we want to make, we'll click Update Quote. That locks those in. Now they are considered the live version of the quote. And if we scroll back up to the top, you'll see we've got a button here to download a quote letter. And in just a second, this will get ready for us. We'll be able to get it queued up for binding. So we'll go ahead and click Continue to Bind. We'll confirm our effective date, and then we'll enter in the policyholder's contact information. What will happen next is we'll actually send them a link that they can use to finalize the purchase of the policy. Now, that link is typically pretty fast. Usually it takes less than a minute from when I click that button until when it hits my inbox. And as soon as we get into this next page, you'll see we can actually keep track of what's happening with that link once it's been sent out. And so this is really, I think, a really helpful page to be able to keep track of what's going on with that link. It might save you a little bit of follow-up or help you direct your follow-up a little bit more. Now, one thing I will share, a lot of people overlook this, but on this page, you've got a copy share link button here. So we can click that. That actually copies that link to finalize the purchase of the policy. So if you're working with somebody who doesn't get it for one reason or another, you can try sending it from your personal email. You can send it over as a text message. Or one thing that I'll do here is just open up a new tab, paste that link in, and then you can see what this looks like from the perspective of the policyholder. So all we have to do now is select our payment terms. You will see there's a discount for annual payments, but we are a direct bill carrier. There are no additional financing fees or interest payments for installments. Great feature here is you can click View Payment Schedule, and then you can review when each payment is due and how much it will be for. So really helpful just to help people know kind of what they should expect. Now we'll click Continue. And then the next step here is to e-sign the policy documents. This process we built to be as easy as possible as well. I think it's a lot easier than that kind of old school method I'm sure we've all had to do where you download everything, print it out, get it signed, scan it in, email it to somebody else who's going to also have to sign it, scan it, upload it, email it. All we have to do here is give it the squiggle. Everybody always loves how easy this is. We'll agree to e-signing, and then you can click Start Signing to go through page by page, review everything, or I'll just keep it easy for us and click Sign All and knock everything out with one click of a button. Now all those documents get emailed over to the policyholder. That's also pretty fast. Typically, again, within about a minute, they should have that in their inbox. It'll also be saved to the platform. So if you need to go in and reference those in the future, they'll be there waiting for you. And you don't have to go digging through the 8 million emails that you've received in your inbox since. Final step here is to collect payment. We accept credit, debit, or ACH. All major credit card brands should work. I will give you a heads up. There are transaction fees. These are charged by our payment vendor. I do like to recommend ACH when that's an option because the fees can be significantly less, But hey, some people like those points too. All we have to do from here, enter in the name of the account holder, their account information, and then auto pay is automatically selected. We can always unselect it if we'd like, but it is on by default. And then we'll agree to the terms of use and click complete transaction. Now we've got the invoice number, so we know this policy has been bound. Everybody will receive receipts by email, so we all have a paper trail that this transaction occurred. And when we go back into the platform, you'll see these boxes should update for us, so we know everything's been completed. And then we can click into the policy detail page to see every service team's favorite page in our platform. This is really helpful. This just puts a lot of information right at your fingertips. I know if somebody's walking into your office or if they call you or even if they just email you and they have questions, they don't want to wait around for answers. They want those answers right now. And this puts a lot of that information right at your fingertips. So you can get some quick policy information here. You can see their payment plan, what has been paid, what's due, whether auto pay is on, whether it's active. We can click view schedule here and download receipts. As these become closer to being due, you can download invoices. You can see when the policy was issued and when it's effective. You can see when it expires. You can download all the policy documents here. In the exposures page, you can see what's actually in the application. So for example, if they wanted to know their BPP limit, we've got that information right here. It took 2 clicks to get there. We didn't have to download the 85-page PDF and start digging through that. One other feature is the quick actions button. From here, you can generate a certificate of insurance. Once this, again, has a payment that's closer to being due, there's also a button here to send a automatic payment reminder. And that's really what a lot of service teams love. So again, if anybody has any questions, please feel welcome to ask those in the chat. I'm not seeing any, which maybe just means I'm doing a really great job, or also maybe just means everybody's just gone to sleep to the soothing sounds of my voice. Whichever it is, though, if you have any questions, ask those in the chat. And then let's jump back into the presentation, finish it out. So these are a couple accounts that we have bound over the last few months that I think show just the types of risks that we can be a good partner to you with. A couple other classes of business I've been seeing a lot of. We've been doing really, really well with small grocery stores. I think this has been a kind of sleeper product in our appetite for a while. And if you work with any, I would definitely encourage you to submit those our way. We seem to be doing really well with kind of like your small cultural grocery stores. They are able to have like butcher departments, seafood departments, hot bars, hot food prep. We wouldn't really be a great fit if they have like a full scale, full service restaurant inside. But if they're just selling hot food, that's fine with us. And I think that we've been winning a lot on those. Electronics stores, also a really great opportunity with us. We write policies for them that don't have theft exclusions or theft sublimits. So I think that's just an easy win. It tends to be one of our highest quote to bind classes as well. Restaurants, always a great opportunity. We write liquor liability for them in most states. And again, we'll go up to 50% alcohol sales. So you get a little more flexibility than most small business markets that might drop out at 35%. So really good opportunities there. And then what you just got to see today, that is the great technology that MGT's built. What you'll get to see as you have a chance to work with us a little bit more is the great team that stands behind that technology. The team here is here to really kind of step up and continue to deliver on that promise to make things fast and easy for you. And so I'll leave this up for the rest of our time together this afternoon. If you have any questions, please reach out. You've got myself. I'm the partner activation lead here. You can kind of think of me as your MGT fixer. you're ever not sure who to reach out to, get in touch with me. You've got Annalise. She is a fantastic resource for you and a great advocate for you as well. You've got our underwriting team. They're available by email. They do pick up the phone. You've got our instant message support team. That's actually how I recommend reaching out to the support if you ever need to, because it gives them some extra context when you reach out that way about what page you're looking at, if you're working on a quote, where you're at in that process. So it just cuts down on the number of questions they have to ask to get started to help out. We have a great customer support team as well. They're very responsive by email and phone, in addition to the instant message. And Amy, our AI appetite assistant, who we all met. So got a great question in the Q&A. Again, thank you so much, Vandana. I have a client with 3 locations. That's an appetite. They're with farmers, and 2 of their policies were renewed last month. One is due in October. They want to see quotes. I think we can definitely do that. Do you offer a 500,000 for liquor liability? Yes. And a 500,000 for HNOA. The HNOA limits follow the GL limits. So they probably want to get the 1-2 mil for HNOA. But yes, absolutely. Now, follow-up question is about updating the GL to 2 million, 4 million. We do support 2 million, 4 million GL limits, but only for franchise restaurants. That's just a reinsurance requirement on our side. So it's not available to everybody, but if it is a restaurant and if it is franchised, we can offer the 2 mil, 4 mil limits. There's a question in the eligibility section when you're just starting out a quote, whether they are a franchise restaurant or not. If you answer yes, you'll see the option for those 2 mil, 4 mil limits. In all other situations, you just won't see the option for 2 mil, 4 mil limits because it's not available, and our platform's only going to show you terms that are bindable. So, really good question. If anybody else has any questions, please reach out anytime. You've also got all my contact info here if you want to reach out later. I know a lot of agents I talk to will have a post-it notes wall right next to them with all the company contact info. Put me on the wall, and I'm here to be a resource to you. So let me take a drink of water, give you all a break from my voice, and then we'll wrap it up. So I really appreciate you all again taking some time for me today. It's been really great to meet you, and I really appreciate all the questions as well. If you have any other questions, always feel welcome to reach out. If you enjoyed the show this afternoon, jump in, run a couple quotes, let me know how I did. Really, again, thank you so much for your interest, for being engaged. We are really excited to be working with you, and I hope that MGT can be a great partner for you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you again so much, and take care.